This week your teacher wants you to learn all about hibernation. Let's look first at the assignment that you have to do. Okay, you're going to find the assignment in your teacher's course. It's this one that says second grade, Montgomery Rudnick Krause. It's inside this blue folder labeled week 7, May 18th through 22nd. The assignment is called Read and Respond, week 7. So you should be clicking materials, then clicking the blue folder that says week 7, then click Read and Respond, week 7. Now inside it says, have your child read the attached story. Here's the story here. It says Hibernation. If you click on it, you can open it and read the story, but I will be reading it for you here. And or read the story with them. Directions. List 3 or more facts about hibernation. Okay, so all you have to do this time is read the story. You have to tell 3 facts that you learned. So 3 things that you learned about hibernation. So let's get started. Now, when you write your 3 facts, you can use this sentence. You can say, I learned that, and then put what you learned here. So let's take a look at a few words you have to learn before reading the book.
I just got up from a long nap and it feels really great to get some rest. And outside, there are lots of animals just getting ready for a very long rest because it's going to be winter soon. Animals like groundhogs. Groundhogs are little animals that are about half a meter long. They live in the United States and Canada and spend a lot of their time in burrows that they dig into the ground. And right now, groundhogs are trying to get everything ready for a perfect cozy den. They're preparing for hibernation. Hibernation is like a deep, deep sleep that some animals go into during the winter. They'll sleep for months and months, and they don't wake up until spring. Oh, those animals aren't necessarily sleepy squeaks. Hibernation is a way for animals to survive the colder winter months. You see, animals normally need plenty of food to survive. But during cold winter months, lots of the food that animals like to eat goes away. In snowy, cold places, the leaves fall off the trees. Fruit stops growing, and even the bugs go away. For animals that eat these things, it can be a hungry few months. To survive, some animals will migrate, meaning they'll travel somewhere else where there's more food, like birds that fly to somewhere warmer. Other animals, like squirrels, will store food away to eat when it's cold. But animals like groundhogs can't move somewhere else, and they can't store enough food to last all winter. That's right, Squeaks. They have to hibernate. If a groundhog is hibernating, it doesn't matter if there isn't a lot of food around because the groundhog is fast asleep. I know you still need to wake up and eat after sleeping, but it's different for hibernating animals because hibernating is more than a long nap. Animals spend a long time preparing for hibernation. Before they hibernate, a groundhog will spend weeks eating as much as possible. That little groundhog becomes a great big groundhog with a thick layer of body fat. Then, once it's time, they'll cuddle up in their burrow and go to sleep. Now, normally, when a groundhog goes to sleep, their body rests a little bit. But their lungs keep breathing and their heart keeps pumping blood normally. To keep working, the groundhog's lungs and heart need energy from the food they eat. But during the type of very deep sleep the groundhog goes into when they hibernate, their lungs and heart slow way down. Their heart only beats about 5 times a minute, and they only breathe about twice a minute. They go so slowly, they don't use as much energy. And since the groundhog's body isn't using very much energy, they don't have to wake up every day to eat more food. Instead, they can use the energy they've already stored. That's right, Squeaks. The groundhog uses the energy they stored up from eating all of that food in the weeks before they hibernated. The layer of fat the groundhog put on in the fall slowly gets used up for energy. And by the time the groundhog needs to wake up to eat, it's time for spring. Lots of different animals can hibernate, like bats, chipmunks, and hedgehogs. Bats will even hibernate in large colonies, all huddled together to share warmth.
Okay, here are a few more words that you're going to have to learn to understand the story. The first one is predator and prey. The predator is usually the animal that eats another animal. So the snake is the predator, and the animal that gets eaten is the prey. Here, the mouse is the prey. Survive. When you survive, you live through something. You don't die. This kid and the dog survived the storm by floating on a car. Survive. Hibernate. When animals hibernate, they go into a deep sleep until they can find more food. Hibernate. Migrate. Some animals, when they run out of food, let's just say it gets colder up here where they live, what they do is they'll fly to a warmer place where there is food. Some butterflies, they're called monarch butterflies. They fly from northern North America down to Mexico. They spend the winter there because there's food, and then they come back up to North America later when it's summer here. So migrate just means you go from one place to another and then back again. Migrate. Scarce. When things are scarce, there's hardly any of it. Look at this picture. Water is scarce here. Plants are scarce here. There's hardly any of it. It is scarce. Okay, so let's go ahead and we are going to read this book, Hibernation. If you want to in your assignment, you can click here and read it, but I will read it for you. Hibernation, written by Kara Freed. Hibernation. Table of contents. Food is scarce. Page 4. What is hibernating? Page 5. How do they stay alive? Page 7. Where do animals hibernate? Page 8. Who hibernates? Page 13. Glossary, page 15. Index, page 16. Food is scarce. Many places have cold winters. Some animals in these places have trouble finding food in the winter. Food is scarce during this time. Some animals migrate to warmer places to find food and return in the spring. Other animals hibernate to survive the winter months. Okay, so we're going to practice writing some fact that we learned, something we learned. So in the next box, you're going to write, I learned, and then put what you learned from this page. Hedgehogs must gain weight to hibernate. What is hibernating? Hibernation is like a very sound sleep. Not even loud noises can wake the animals up. Hibernating animals sleep for days or weeks at a time. Hibernating animals breathe very slowly. Their hearts beat slower. They are using little energy and they do not need to eat. Okay, so on this page, what did you learn? You can write, I learned, and then put what you learned in the box. When a warm-blooded animal hibernates, its body temperature drops until it's almost as cold as the temperature outside. A cold-blooded animal's body temperature always matches the temperature outside. When a cold-blooded animal gets too cold, it hibernates. Groundhogs are warm-blooded animals. Snakes are cold-blooded animals. Okay, now it's your turn to write a fact that you learned. So you're going to write, I learned, and then put what you learned in the next box. How do they stay alive? Hibernating animals eat lots of food before winter. They store the food in their bodies as fat. Their bodies live off this fat while they sleep. It takes very little energy to keep hibernating animals alive. Raccoons collect food. Okay, go ahead and now you get to put a fact that you learned. So in the box that's coming, put I learned and put what you learned. Where do animals hibernate? Hibernating animals also need a safe place to sleep. They need to be away from the cold and hidden from hungry predators. Some animals, like bats, hibernate in caves. Some snakes hibernate together. Okay, in the box, put what you learned. I learned, and then write what you learned. Hibernating snakes sleep underground in burrows. Frogs and turtles sleep in mud at the bottom of ponds. Some mice hibernate in winter nests. Some animals, like squirrels, store food where they hibernate. Frog, turtle, snake, burrow. All right, put what you learned on this page. I learned. And then put what you learned. Many people think of bears when they think of hibernation. But a bear is not really a hibernating animal. A bear often wakes up and moves around in winter. Also, a bear's body temperature doesn't get as cold as that of other warm-blooded hibernating animals. The bear's sleep is called a torpor. A torpor is a deep sleep, but not as deep as hibernation. A black bear is safe in its den. Okay, in the box, put what you learned. I learned, and then add what you learned. Like a hibernating animal, though, a bear prepares a place to sleep for winter. It fills its winter den with leaves and tree branches. This bed helps keep the bear's body heat in while it sleeps. Layers of snow on the den also keep the heat inside. This helps keep the bear warm. A bear's den is just big enough for the bear. All right, it's your turn to write a fact that you learned. I learned. Like birds, some butterflies fly to warmer areas in winter. But many insects hibernate. They need a safe, warm place to sleep, just like other hibernating animals. Some hibernate in holes in the ground. Others hibernate under tree bark. Some insects, like many ladybugs, hibernate in buildings, including houses. Many kinds of insects hibernate too. Okay, it's your turn. Now write what you learned. I learned. Who hibernates? Warm-blooded animals like groundhogs, chipmunks, and prairie dogs hibernate. Cold-blooded animals like snakes, frogs, turtles, insects, and lizards hibernate. Gila monster. Badgers are warm-blooded animals. Some animals like bats, some animals like bats, some squirrels, and some mice hibernate all winter long. Some animals wake up to eat, as bears do. Raccoons, badgers, and skunks might wake up to eat on a warm winter day. In the spring, all the hibernating animals wake up. A prairie dog wakes up. Glossary. Burrows, holes in the ground dug by animals. Migrate, to move from one place to another, usually to eat or to breed. Predators, animals that hunt other animals. Scarce, hard to find. Sound, deep, undisturbed. Survive, to stay alive. Torpor, a deep sleep when body functions slow down, but not as deep as hibernation. Okay, so now you're ready to go do your assignment. You're going to read the book if you need to again. It's right here. You just click on it and open it. Then you're going to push Submit Assignment, which is the button over here. Okay. Then you're going to click Create, this button here. Then you will click inside the box and you are going to type your answer. Remember, you need 3 facts. And you can use the sentence, I learned. And put that 3 times. I learned, I don't know. I learned that raccoons hibernate or something. And you need 3 of those sentences. Then click Submit and you're done.